Many thanks for choosing us. Residents of a fishing community at Dakope, close to Dambai in the Oti region on Wednesday, chased the police rescue team for trafficked children out of the community amidst the burning of ties and threats of burning the personnel alive. The policemen, numbering 17, had gone to the community along the bank of Lake Volta to rescue 21 children who were being used for dangerous fishing activities on the lake. As police arrived at the dead of the night, 1:30 a.m. for the rescue, the residents were mobilized, ready to attack. Maxwell Agbagba was embedded with the team and now reports.
So time check, it's 12:35 a.m. We are on our way to Dakope, where the children will be rescued. It's a very bumpy, undulating and very rough road. It has been like this for the past 1 hour. We are going in the dead of the night, at the dead of the night, because this is the time that the suspects and the children who are going to be rescued are likely sleeping, because they'll be waking up at dawn to go fishing, and this is the good time to swoop in, on them. So that's what we're doing. We're in a convoy of a vehicle of about 5 vehicles, together with personnel from the Ghana Police Service. We also have some social workers who are going to help in the processing of these children.
Many of the fishing communities along the banks of Lake Volta, where these children are usually trafficked to, are tucked away from the urban centers and away from the eyes of even law enforcement officers. The nearest police station to Dakope, where we visited, is the Dambai police station. It is a 2.5 hours journey with 2 hours of untarred road.
So we are now here in the Dakope community, where the rescue operation will be taking place.
It's 1:30 a.m. and we are now in the Dakope community. Topless, muscular men, some of them in only boxer shorts, were standing outside waiting for the rescue team. It was as though a gong had been beaten for the community people to mobilize. The residents vowed they would not allow police officers to do their work. At this point, we were stopped from filming anything in the community. Some of the young men brought out car ties, threatening to burn alive police personnel. As their anger continued to rise and negotiation failed, it was time to retreat as we jumped into our cars and fled. But there were more obstacles on the way as some of the residents started burning ties in the middle of a narrow road. They pelted our cars with big stones, forcing me and another journalist to duck for cover.
We arrived in this community around 1:30 a.m. and already the community people have mobilized, ready to pounce on the police personnel here. And this is one of the major factors militating against the fight against child trafficking. You can see all of them have ganged up in this fishing community, not allowing police personnel, to do their work. There's some community agitation going on right now with residents.
Bush the bush! Fire the bush!
So that's a gunshot. Was it a gunshot?
No, somebody.
You're on my leg.
Oh, sorry. Was it a stone or a gunshot?
No, it was a stone.
Wow. Move. And you can see they are throwing stones at this point. And you can see the fire right in the middle of the road. The burning ties in the middle of the road. The police is also trying to disperse the agitated crowd.
And on your election headquarters, Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo, chairman of the NDC, says his campaign to renew his mandate as the national chairman of the NDC is unfazed, even as his main contender, John Asiedu Nketia, has been leveling many allegations against him. The general secretary, in an audio, stated that he was not convinced the party had enough evidence to challenge the outcome of the polls at the Supreme Court, adding he did so through the insistence of Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo, who he blames for the party's defeat. But Mr. Ofosu-Ampofo insists that delegates know the truth, while he refuses to comment on the allegations. He spoke on PM Express last night.
I have told those who ought to know, they are delegates. Internal party matters are not discussed in public. We all swore oath of allegiance and oath of secrecy. There are some other issues that are top party issues that are discussed at the national executive and functional executive level that are not supposed to be discussed in public like the way you are asking me. And as a leader and chairman of the party, I will restrain myself from responding to some of these issues. I have used the appropriate forum, meeting the delegates, meeting our former appointees, meeting council of elders across the regions, meeting our regional executives, and meeting those who matter in the party when it comes to matters like this. And I've discussed it exhaustively with them. And they know the position of the party, and they know what I stand for and what the truth is. I do not think that this is a platform for me to come and trade, accusation and counter-accusations. It doesn't help us as a party. We need to keep party unity and party cohesion. We need to ensure that things that are supposed to be discussed within the circles of the party are left to be discussed within those confines, and not to come and take platforms like this and discuss internal party matters in public. I will not do that. I will not engage in that one. And I believe that those who matter will come and vote on Saturday. And I've explained myself sufficiently to them. And they understand the situation, they understand the issues, and they will not have any difficulty at all in voting for me to continue to remain as the chairman of the party.
Well, that tough race comes off this Saturday. Will Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Otokuno, be able to fend off competition from his seniors like Fifi Kwete and Elvis Afriyie-Ankrah and take over from his boss and mentor, Asiedu Nketia? With barely 72 hours to the opposition NDC's national executive elections, Raymond Akwa in this report puts the spotlight on Deputy General Secretary Peter Otokuno as he strives to be elected substantive General Secretary.
You cannot overemphasize the role of the young people. And most importantly, let me emphasize that the wisdom of Solomon has nothing to do with the age of Methuselah.
Dr. Peter Otokuno dismissing one of the major claims against him. According to him, what he lacks in age, he has been more than willing to make up for in experience.
Yes, I've dedicated myself to the service of our great party, the National Democratic Congress. During this period, I've served in various capacities, both in government and as a party official. I've served as the head of research at the Communications Directorate of the Office of the President, as a Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority, and as a member of the National Elections Directorate of the NDC, as a Deputy Director of Research, and the founding registrar of the NDC Party School, the Ghana Institute of Social Democracy. By the good grace of God and by your support, you elevated me to the high office of the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC.
But is this enough to guarantee him a win over former ministers and party stalwarts like Fifi Kwete and Elvis Afriyie-Ankrah? Peter Otokuno believes his trump card is that he learned from the best.
I have submitted myself to you in all humility. I've learned from the best in the party. This humbling period of service and learning to the masses of our party has shaped me into a leader that does not only share in your dreams and aspirations for this party.
Dr. Otokuno, however, has only one motivation for seeking the office, which is to make sure the party returns to power.
But actually embodies the struggles, the dreams, and the aspirations. I know your desire to see a strong leader. I know your desire to see a stronger party. I know a desire to see a leader strong enough to combat and defeat a hostile, corrupt, clueless,
reckless, and an incompetent opponent in the next elections. I know the aspirations of many young people, the men, the women, who strive and sacrifice for this party, even at the peril of their lives, at the various constituencies. To have a party leadership that is approachable, accessible, and sensitive to their plights, and most importantly, committed to promoting their growth and welfare. I know the aspirations of senior citizens and comrades to secure a future for the party they have so strived hard for and to build over the years, and also to consolidate their legacy that they have built with the party. Most critically, I know how important for you, the Ghanaian public, that the NDC forms a government in 2025 to deliver this country from the clueless, incompetent hands and tyrannical MPP.
But this will not be an easy battle, despite the fact that he's seen as one of the favorites.
Away from the NDC's internal contest, 16 months after assuming office as a special prosecutor, Kisie Jabing has yet to receive a salary and other benefits. That's not all. Exclusive documents available to JoyNews confirm, with the exception of the deputy special prosecutor, all other staff of the office have not been paid, and so is the former special prosecutor, Martin Amidu. The special prosecutor is not happy, and he is warning unpaid staff could potentially be compromised, making the fight against corruption useless. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, is expected to appear before the Legal and Constitutional Committee today in a closed session to explain why the special prosecutor and his staff are not receiving salary. The minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, is unhappy with the development. But first, my colleague Elton Broby joins me in studio as we go through the documents. It's actually on Zoom. Elton, first, what is the salary for the special prosecutor?
So, Aisha, the law that establishes the office of the special prosecutor does not in specific term mention a figure, but the law says that the special prosecutor shall hold office on the same terms and conditions of service as a justice of the Court of Appeal, except that the tenure of the office shall be non-renewable, tenure of 7 years. Now, if I look at the Professor Yaya Ntiama Presidential Committee on Emolument for Article 71 office holders, put the salary for Court of Appeal judge at 33,155. So we can assume that the special prosecutor is on the same salary, because the law says that it should be paid the same as a judge of the Court of Appeal, 33,155. Now, what we are being told is that for 16 months now, the special prosecutor has yet to receive a salary. So if you put it all together, then the country owes him 530,480 Ghana cedis. That is just the salary. Conditions of service and others that count to the salary, we are not sure how government is meeting them. But in terms of his pay at the end of every month, from the day he assumed office in August up till now, he has yet to receive a salary.
Elton, why has he not been paid? Do we know?
We don't have the details yet, but correspondence we have intercepted. The one I'm holding right now is dated 24th of June 2021. This is from the Ministry of Finance, and he wrote this letter to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And in this letter, the Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, says that reference is made to Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, made reference to them, to the fact that they should use some kind of a formula to pay the salary of staff of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And he also directed the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to ensure linkages between some provisions in the Office of the Special Prosecutor and that of the Ghana Police Service are, adhered to. Also establish linkages between the current Special Prosecutor and Deputy as appointed by Article 71 office holders. Now, this letter, we are told, should have taken effect from January 1, 2019, but from what we are hearing, it doesn't look like it's been complied with. So the Special Prosecutor works without salary. What we know is that only the Deputy is paid. The staff are not on any salary scheme. So is the outgoing Special Prosecutor, Martin Amidu.
So the Special Prosecutor has responded to this subject, has he?
In fact, he has. We have two correspondence. One dated the 10th of March 2022, and the other one, 5th of October 2022, it appears that the letter that was sent to the Finance Ministry from the Special Prosecutor's Office dated 10th March 2022 is reproduced in the 5th October one because there was no reply. So the same letter finds expression in the 5th October one, in which Kite Ibrahim makes some very interesting remarks. Here he says that the staff of the office bear the responsibility for and are expected to immense risks of policy protection and safeguarding of national security, investigation of suspected criminals, prosecution of suspected criminals, enforcement of production orders, search of premises, seizure of tainted property, custody and management of seized property. Now he says the overriding consideration is that the staff of the office should not be rendered worse off as compared to staff of other security agencies. And he goes on to say that if the staff of the office are poorly remunerated, especially as compared to staff of the other security agencies, we will breed corruption or corrupt staff at the office, and the nation cannot attach much moral importance to their actions, and we may not be able to insist on the expectation of integrity. And these are strong words that the Special Prosecutor in his letter dated 5th October 2022 addressed to the Finance Minister captors.
Elton Brobe with that statement. Now, the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, who is member of the Legal and Constitutional Committee, tells Elton Brobe that development demonstrates the Akufo-Addo's government's lack of commitment to fight corruption.
Later, so the Special Prosecutor, we are picking information that he's not been paid since August, and I know that the Finance Minister was summoned to appear before the Legal and Constitutional Affairs Committee to respond to this matter. What is your issue with how the office is being run?
Incredibly astonishing. I just can't believe it that the office of the Special Prosecutor is simply not functional as was expected of the legislation that created the office as part of our collective quest to combat corruption, economic criminality, and graft associated with the abuse of public processes for private personal gain. I understand that Martin Amidu has not even been paid.
Throughout the period that he was Special Prosecutor?
Throughout the period that he was Special Prosecutor. He's not been paid. Since his left office, what is due him has not been paid to him because the Minister for Finance is determining what the conditions of service should be against the law and the regulations that establish the institution. It simply means that President Nana Akufo-Addo from day one has never ever been committed to fighting corruption. He set up the bureaucracy for the finance of it, that I have an office of the Special Prosecutor to complement the Attorney General office in fighting corruption. In any case, which matter of corruption is before the court? Which matter of corruption is before the Special Prosecutor? Many of his persons that are being investigated, very little is heard about the outcomes of those investigations. Look at what happened at the Northern Development Authority. We are not seeing any action, even though we saw culpability in what occasioned loss of money to the state and many other matters before them. So one is not surprised. It is deliberate. It's intended to weaken the Special Prosecutor and to intimidate him not to live up to his calling. Because you know what justices of the Court of Appeal and what their associated privileges, facilities, and benefits are, and that must be given to the office of the Special Prosecutor. I appreciate the difficulty that Kisiaji Abing is functioning in that particular office. It's estimated that Ghana loses over $2 billion to corruption every other year. Matters of misappropriation, embezzlement, misapplication of funds, we just have to get serious as a country in blocking the leakages, and we need the office of the prosecutor to bite and to function much more effectively. I'm profoundly disappointed in Nana Addo Dankwa and his handling of this matter, and our Committee on Constitutional Legal will take up this matter much more seriously.
But I'm sure that you met the finance minister on this. You summoned him to appear before the committee to respond to this matter.
The committee will do that today and report back to me.
But isn't this defeating the purpose for which the office was established? If you have the number one person charged with this responsibility, he is not paid.
The Ministry of National Security says it will collaborate with the Ghana Journalists Association to protect journalists in their line of work. Speaking at meeting with the Ghana Journalists Association, Minister of National Security Albert Kandapa indicated the future of the country is in the hands of the media, and the ministry will help protect such independent institutions. There's more in this report.
National Security Coordinator Edward Kweku Esumenin assured that the national security will do everything in their power to protect journalists in their line of duty, since it is in the nation's interest. He stated that any strong association that can hold its members to account will also benefit from the national security.
We have a history where people have fought and bled for these freedoms that we enjoy today. It's therefore important that we do everything in our power to protect journalists in the practice of their duty. It would inure to our benefit in the long run, but also in expressing and practicing this noble profession, it comes with responsibilities. And this is where the association becomes critical. Again, a strong association that can hold its members to account is also beneficial to us as a ministry.
The Minister for National Security, Albert Kandapa, cautioned journalists to be cautious with their choice of words when they are on their various platforms. Mr. Kandapa urged the GJA president to ensure that the welfare of journalists is protected.
Believe me, the future of the country is in your hands. It's in the hands of the key, what we call vertical accountability institution. The key vertical accountability institution is the media. The media, because they are completely independent. The more powerful you are, the better it is for the country. But do not use that power to destroy the very country that you are supposed to serve. It's only within your profession where we have people who work at times 20 hours a day, every day, and yet they are not on any salary. I mean, clearly, this should not be acceptable. Mr. President, is it not possible during your presidency that you demand that every journalist be paid something?
The president of the Ghana Journalists Association, Mr. Albert Kwabena Dufo, stated that there is a need to promote peace and security in the country, since the national security and the media have the same goal.
We believe that EJ is a major partner in national development, and for that matter, there's the need for us to call on our key stakeholders. One of the major key stakeholders is the Ministry of National Security. As the media, we gather information, which is the raw material, we process it and transmit it as news. Security also gather the same information material, you process it, and you use it as intelligence. So it means that we do the same thing. The aim of the courtesy call, as we just did, is to introduce ourselves to our key partners like the Ministry of National Security, to re-engage and share our vision and plans for journalists in the country.
Young single people in Ghana are more likely to be involved in motor accidents. This according to medical officer and researcher with the Accidents and Emergency Unit at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Abigail Mana. She says data shows individuals within the youthful age bracket tend to drive recklessly. She was speaking at a town hall meeting dubbed Operation Stay Alive, where she advised commercial drivers and motorists to drive safely. Lois Stay has more.
Dr. Abigail Mana, who works as a medical officer at the accidents unit of the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital, says more than 70% of victims involved in accidents and brought to her unit were young and single. She also observed that many of them were drivers and motorists who drove recklessly. She spoke at a town hall meeting with commercial motor riders.
From 18 to 35 found the majority of the cases, which form like 75% of the cases. And the singles also find out most of our majority of cases that I saw. Okay, so most men may not marry early and they might be involved. And you know, when you are single, you just want to live life, you want to be happy and all that. So they live, I'm not saying recklessly, but some of them do the reckless driving around. So I think that's what is causing them having a higher incidence rate of the accident they are having.
Dr. Mana said many of the victims didn't know much about road signs and traffic regulations. She advised them to wear helmets always to minimize the impact of accidents.
And my major findings were those who came in with helmets has a tendency of reducing head injury and fatal accidents. I had only 7% who has idea of our road regulations. Some cannot even identify any of the road signs. So my advice to our motor riders is we want them alive. We want them to stay alive. So we want them to please use their helmets, which will help us to reduce the head injury cases. And we want them to obey the rules and road regulations.
Speaking on the side of the event, National Chairman of the Okada Riders Association, Mohammed Tinjani, implored the government to legalize commercial motor riding in the country, as it is a source of income for many young men. He also pleaded with restaurant owners to hire trained and licensed motorists as dispatch riders.
We are pleading to them to listen to us, to legalize the Okada for us, because now everywhere are choke. Only this job have the population in Ghana now. But by all means, if they legalize the Okada for us, we follow the law and regulation. And we are pleading to the people who, especially restaurants, we are pleading to them, if they want to take a dispatch rider, they should go to the correct channel and follow the correct way. They should come direct to us. We will show them and we will give them the correct people who can feel right.
It is expected that this sensitization will be effective in curbing the high occurrence of motor accidents, especially during this festive season. Lois Tays reports, read to you.
The Economic and Organized Crime Office says it will pursue and retrieve the over 200 imported luxury vehicles suspected to have been stolen from America. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, in collaboration with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Royal Canadian Police, recently retrieved 37 imported luxury vehicles suspected to be stolen from America and Canada. But the EOCO says there are more vehicles on their list from their collaborators, and they will go through the appropriate legal regime to retrieve them. Deputy Head of the Economic and Organized Crimes Office, Nana Entry, has been speaking to Richard Kwejonyako.
In this case, over 2 months ago, it was set in motion per the analysis of the primary request and field verifications to convince ourselves. And we've convinced ourselves that those vehicles are in the system. For now, you can't see them in the garages, but they are in the country. They will be taken one after the other. It could span over a long period of time, but it doesn't matter. We are in the process of asking for special documents, special orders to do a publication of those suspected vehicles. We have their chasing numbers and ask those in possession to voluntarily submit, failing which we will draw a plan to get all of them. Because, you see, when we talk about a stolen item, it is not all the purchasers of items who have the full background of what has transpired prior to the purchase. Do you understand?
Yes.
So a garage owner may honestly believe that he is doing a genuine business. Now you go to pick the vehicles, you don't expect him to be happy. It is for that reason that we need a space of time for them to get the opportunity to come and show us why they think that those vehicles should not come under that description. And as soon as they convince us, I mean, there's a procedure to ensure that they are not unfair.
His warning garages and other vehicle purchasers to undertake due diligence before they purchase vehicles.
They should, as much as possible, try to do due diligence. The due diligence at their level may not be enough because they would want, in fact, the purchaser knows that the vehicle was imported, he sees the import document, taxes were paid, he sees the tax document. He may not know that it's a stolen vehicle. At the end of the exercise, this office, in conjunction with other institutions like the Association of Vehicle Operators, will now come up with some of the things that the public must know regarding the implications of those purchases. Do you understand? For now, I cannot make a disclosure because some of them are things that we will use to explain to them the reason why they are stolen vehicles. But most of the happenings may not be known to the purchasers. That's why we use the word innocent purchases. Most of them may not be known to the garage operators. Hence, whoever made the request, that is our counterparts, Yoko will not sit here and succumb under pressure from them to make hasty decisions. We would make sure that we are satisfied that whatever we are doing falls within the remit of the law.
The magic of Christmas never ends when you are in the company of your beloved ones. Well, the most anticipated outdoor family event of the year, the Joy FM Family Party in the Park, is here. The annual Joy FM Family Party in the Park is coming off on the 26th of December at the Ibrahim Botanical Gardens. It will be a time to relieve stress and bond with both family members and friends. Lots of food, drinks, games, competitions, and many others which you don't want to miss. Here is a message from the General Manager for Sales and Marketing at the Multimedia Group, Max Fuga. But before that, let's watch some excerpts from last year.
The family is the basic and essential building block of society. Like we say in church, I will also add that the family that bonds together stays united. It is in the light of this that Joy FM created the family party in the park to afford families to bond together, to relax and have fun. This year, it is taking place at the Ibrahim Botanical Gardens on the 26th of December from 9 a.m. till Daddy or Mommy decides that it's time to go. For this year's event, we've introduced a couple of things, or rather a lot of innovations have been added to this year's event. Notably, we're having live performances from some of our leading artists in Ghana. This include Kwame Eugene, Kwabna, Kidi, Perez Music, among others. And let me say a very big thank you to our sponsors for this year's event, notably Fritol. They've always been with us. Fortune Rice, Ghana AIDS Commission, Alliance Life, ATL, Qua Mixture, Syntex, Mobile Doctors Ghana for their wonderful support. We thank you for your wonderful support. We are very grateful.
You have the Max Fuga, Sales and Marketing Manager of the Multimedia Group. We'll take a break when we return. This business.
Hello, good afternoon. It's night time to do business with me, Beverly Broom. The Ghana Stock Exchange, with support from the Young Investors Network, has challenged students in the senior high school to embrace financial literacy and investment for a better future. Speaking at the climax of this year's Capital Markets Quiz, the head of marketing and public relations of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Jerry Boachidankwa, said an improved savings and investment culture in the country will transform the economy. Here's more.
The Capital Markets Quiz is an initiative to challenge students in SHS to increase their knowledge in capital markets, entrepreneurship, and corporate finance. It is also targeted at incorporating some business skills in the students. Jerry Boachidankwa is the head of marketing and public relations of the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Ghana Stock Exchange will continue to support this program because we believe that every Ghanaian has the right to be financially literate. And as we promote financial education and people get to understand the basics in investment and savings, as a country, people will use the right and the right routes to invest their money.
Team lead for Young Investor Network, Joshua Kwei-Mensah, added that there is a need for students to understand financial literacy in these challenging times so they can be able to cope.
This competition is really very important because if you know where we find ourselves, there are so many people that even understand the debt restructuring, and it's all about financial literacy. So we believe that with what we are doing is going to be a long way to help the youth, especially the students, to understand financial literacy. And in all, we want to really raise generational of young investors in Ghana. So this quiz is here to stay, and we want more people to come on board. Next year, we are going regional and national.
At the end of the contest, Accra Academy School emerged winner of the Capital Market Quiz 2022 competition. Expressing their joy over their conquest with JoyNews, one of the contestants, Isaac Agbenyaga, said consistent studying and hard work did the trick.
We were able to emerge winners at last, going through the various rounds, which was very hectic, but we managed to pull through thanks to our vivid and effective studies, and by the help of our teachers and with the grace of God, we managed to emerge winners at the end.
This year's Capital Market Quiz saw 12 schools competing for the ultimate prize.
Now, the Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Ursula Wusu-Ekufo, has stated that government is committed to helping young people, especially girls, to develop skills in STEM education to help reduce the rate of unemployment and spur development in the country. She was speaking at the launch of the Seeds for Ladies in STEM project.
With women and girls in Ghana being underrepresented in areas of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics-related professions, the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications has launched the Seeds for Ladies in STEM project to build the gender gap and encourage girls to participate in STEM. The project was launched under the theme, Bridging the Gap in Science, Technology, Engineering and Mathematics in Ghana. Speaking in an interview, Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Ursula Wusu-Ekufo, mentioned that government is supporting entrepreneurs involved in STEM through the procurement of their services.
So we're looking at skills, we're looking at the technology, we're looking at the processes, we're looking at digital infrastructure, all sectors, and the overarching environment within which we can do that, and how we can use all of this to formalize our economy and generate more jobs for our young people. Digital skills is a key component of the policy that we are developing, because we believe that if we give our young people the skills that they require, they can compete in the global world of work within the next 10 years. They're already doing exploits. In many of the meetings in which we have gone, when they've been given an opportunity, they have been winning awards. Innovations from Ghana are winning international awards. They're world-class. We're utilizing it. Many of the interventions that we're using in our country today were developed by Ghanaian entrepreneurs, tech entrepreneurs, and we can mention the national ID, the digital property address system, even our mobile money interoperability system, even the SIM registration application. They were all developed by local Ghanaian companies. So if we give them the chance, and government is the largest procurer of goods and services. So if government also procures these innovative applications and systems developed by our young people, it also gives them a chance to grow and showcase what they're doing on the national and international arena. And we're committed to supporting that development.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Chamber of Telecommunications, Dr. Ken Ashigbe, added that there is the need to bridge the gender gap in STEM to accelerate Ghana's development.
Basically, what we're saying is that, the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization have been doing the Girls in ICT project. You also have the situation where various members of the chamber, MTN, Vodafone, Airtel, Tigo, American Towers, Helios Towers, Ericsson, Comsys, and C-Square, they've been involved in providing opportunities for ladies in STEM.
We have more business on myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Beverly Broom. Next is sports.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports here on JoyNews. Today with me, Muftau Nabila Abla, Black Stars midfielder. Kudus Mohammed, he has been honored for his instrumental role during Ghana's participation in this year's FIFA World Cup. He says the performance of the team, though not satisfying enough, he believes that the team has got a bright future.
I think from this World Cup, you saw everything went, and regardless of the performances, you saw regardless of the result, you saw the performances from the whole team. And there's a lot of young guys coming up in the team, so I think the future looks bright. It was a good lesson for us, for me personally also. First tournament and almost 90% of the guys in the squad. So I think it's a lesson that we take with us, because in these big stages is the small margins and small stuff that make the difference. So we look forward. It's a good insight to come from a top player like him, because I also believe he's one of the big guys in the team that will lead the team at Avil. We all have a big responsibility and role we play in the team, and as an individual, I just try and do my best as an individual to help the team. So I think we all have big responsibilities and roles to play, but it's a good insight and good motivation to even do more. So thanks to him, and I also believe he's also have a good career ahead of him, and I believe a lot he can do more.
The Black Stars exited the tournament after losing their last group game 2-0 to Uruguay. And former Ghana assistant coach Maxwell Konedu, he says that the team had got the quality to do better than we witnessed in the Mundial.
With you as the leader, you always want the team to go all the way to win the ultimate.
Yeah.
You see, it's one thing saying it, and it's another thing implementing it. Because the guys on the pitch have to demonstrate that they are ready for that task.
Yeah.
And you see, you can push them to some level, but majority of the task relies on the boys to go and deliver, go and do whatever they can on the pitch. Give 110% to make sure that what all of you want
to achieve
to happen. So, but if they do it to certain level and cannot push, there's nothing you can do. Just like you said,
yeah.
In 2015, we went all the way
to the final.
We played. We thought we could have won the game in the stipulated 90 minutes,
yes.
But it went to penalty shootout.
Yeah.
We were leading
by two
goals. First and second kick, they missed it, and we scored. But from there, things started changing. And there's a whole lot about that incident we cannot, talk about on air.
Yeah.
But it gets so disappointing. Me, after the game, I was sitting somewhere on the pitch, just thinking about
what just happened.
How we just couldn't bring this cup home. And that brings back, you know, old memories.
It's really difficult for coaches. Sometimes we as fans sit back,
I'm telling you,
and we look at things some way, but you try to put yourself in their position, especially in a moment like that. Coming so close to it, it's like you could touch it.
Yeah,
but
you're close, but never
close enough.
Do you think Ghana could have done better in this tournament?
I think so. I think so. But we've been talking about the Ghanaian team, and most of us think that we should have, you know, maintained the system we started with. That was like every game and the system we chose to approach it with. I think we could have done better because the squad was good.
Yeah.
The squad was good, and the way we started playing, everybody thought that we could become very dangerous in the tournament. But we don't know or we don't understand why things turn out like that. So we have to learn a lot from it.
That's your sports for now, but we do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com, and at 2 p.m. you will have an opportunity of seeing the entire conversation that we had with Maxwell Konadu and Nicholas Forsen on Inside Qatar. We appreciate your company. Up next is Showbiz.
It is always a pleasure bringing you Showbiz here on JoyNews today. Now, Tokyo-based Ghanaian entrepreneur Kobe will be the latest guest on E-Vibes, known outside Showbiz as Kwabena Oponpoku. He was the executive producer of the late Ebony Reigns. Kobe, who is a fashion enthusiast, will be sharing his story and what he will be doing in pushing the Ghanaian creative sector to a different level. Kobe's story is one you can't afford to miss this weekend on JoyNews, Saturday 17th December 2022 at 8:30 a.m. and on Sunday 18th December at 10:30 a.m. It's also airing live on Joy Prime Saturday 17th December at 4:30 p.m. Well, on that note, we end Showbiz here on JoyNews today. There's more Showbiz news in our subsequent bulletins. Good afternoon.
And that's how we end the bulletin. This afternoon, for more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. You get updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.